It is a matter of pride for the country that India is assuming presidency of the G20 on December 1, 2022 for 1-year term. To mark this historic occasion of India taking over as G20 presidency for the first time, participatory Jan Bhagidari activities are being planned from December 1, 2022. One such activity is to educate school-going children about G20 and India's presidency. The aim is to make a general public and especially the younger audience aware of the prestigious presidency. So children, did you know? The group of 20 G20 is made up of countries from various regions. It has 19 countries: Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, United Kingdom, and United States of America, and the European Union. G20 member countries make up 2/3 of the world's population, 85% of the global GDP, and 75% of international trade. G20 consists of 2 parallel tracks, the finance track and the Sherpa track. The G20 does not have a permanent secretariat, but instead has a rotating presidency. India will become the president of the G20 for the first time from 1st December 2022 to 30th November 2023. There will be 200 plus meetings across India during G20 presidency. The G20 summit will be held in New Delhi and will be attended by leaders from around the world. India will be inviting Bangladesh, Egypt, Mauritius, Netherlands, Nigeria, Oman, Singapore, Spain, and United Arab Emirates as guest countries for G20 meetings and the summit. The logo for India's G20 presidency is made up of the lotus, the national flower of India, and the earth, and symbolizes living in harmony with nature. The theme of India's G20 presidency, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future, is drawn from the ancient Sanskrit text of Maha Upanishad. For India, the G20 presidency also marks the beginning of Amrit Kal, the 25-year period beginning from the 75th anniversary of its independence, and on 15th August 2022, leading up to the centenary of its independence. बच्चों, क्या आप जानते हैं G20 समूह 19 देशों और यूरोपियन यूनियन से मिलकर बना है। इसमें सम्मिलित 19 देश अर्जेंटीना, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, ब्राजील, कनाडा, चीन, फ्रांस, जर्मनी, भारत, इंडोनेशिया, इटली, जापान, मेक्सिको, रूस, सऊदी अरब, दक्षिण अफ्रीका, दक्षिण कोरिया, तुर्की, यूनाइटेड किंगडम और संयुक्त राज्य अमेरिका हैं। G20 सदस्य देश दुनिया की 2/3 जनसंख्या का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं। G20 ऐसे देशों का समूह है जिनका आर्थिक सामर्थ्य विश्व की 85% सकल घरेलू उत्पाद GDP का प्रतिनिधित्व करता है। G20 के सदस्य देश विश्व के 75% व्यापार का भी प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं। G20 एजेंडा 2 चैनलों या ट्रैक के द्वारा संचालित होता है, जिसमें फाइनेंस एवं शेरपा ट्रैक शामिल है। G20 का कोई स्थायी अध्यक्ष नहीं है, बल्कि इसकी अध्यक्षता की जिम्मेदारी हर साल अलग अलग सदस्य देशों को मिलती रहती है। पहली बार भारत 1 दिसंबर 2022 से 30 नवंबर 2023 के लिए G20 की अध्यक्षता संभालेगा। G20 की अध्यक्षता के दौरान देश भर में 200 से अधिक बैठकें होंगी। G20 शिखर सम्मेलन नई दिल्ली में होगा और इसमें दुनिया भर के नेता शामिल होंगे। भारत G20 की बैठकों एवं शिखर सम्मेलन के लिए बांग्लादेश, मिस्र, मॉरिशस, नीदरलैंड, नाइजीरिया, ओमान, सिंगापुर, स्पेन और संयुक्त अरब अमीरात को अतिथि देशों के तौर पर आमंत्रित करेगा। भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता के लोगो में राष्ट्रीय फूल कमल के ऊपर पृथ्वी को दर्शाया गया है, जो प्रकृति के साथ सद्भाव में रहने का प्रतीक है। भारत की G20 अध्यक्षता का विषय या थीम वसुधैव कुटुंबकम यानी एक पृथ्वी, एक कुटुंब, एक भविष्य है, जो कि महाउपनिषद से लिया गया है। G20 की अध्यक्षता भारत के अमृतकाल की शुरुआत का प्रतीक है। यह अमृतकाल देश की आजादी की 75वीं वर्षगांठ से शुरू होकर आजादी के 100वें वर्ष तक की 25 साल की अवधि है। What is G20? G20 or Group of 20 is an intergovernmental forum of the world's major developed and developing economies. It comprises 19 countries: Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, UK, USA, and the European Union. Collectively, the G20 accounts for 85% of global GDP, 75% of international trade, and 2/3 of the world population, making it the premier forum for international economic cooperation. The G20 presidency is annual and held on rotation by the member countries. The last few presidencies of G20 have been Turkey 2015, China 2016, Germany 2017, Argentina 2018, Japan 2019, Saudi Arabia 2020, followed by Italy 2021 and Indonesia 2022. India's G20 presidency. India is currently part of the G20 Troika. Current, previous and coming G20 presidencies comprising Indonesia, Italy and India. India will assume the rotating presidency of the G20 from 1st December 2022 to 30th November 2023. Honorable PM launched the logo and theme of India's G20 presidency on 8th November 2022. The G20 logo draws inspiration from the vibrant colors of India's national flag, saffron, white, and green and blue. It juxtaposes planet Earth with the lotus, India's national flower that reflects growth amid challenges. The theme of India's G20 presidency, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or One Earth, One Family, One Future, is drawn from the ancient Sanskrit text of Maha-Upanishad. Essentially, the theme affirms the value of all life, human, animal, plant, and microorganisms, and their interconnectedness on the planet Earth. The logo and the theme together convey a powerful message of India's G20 presidency, which is of striving for just and equitable growth for all in the world. As we navigate through these turbulent times in a sustainable, holistic, responsible, and inclusive manner. They represent a uniquely Indian approach to our G20 presidency of living in harmony with the surrounding ecosystem. Working of G20. The G20 consists of two parallel tracks, the finance track and the Sherpa track. Finance ministers and central bank governors lead the finance track, while Sherpas lead the Sherpa track. The G20 process from the Sherpa side is coordinated by the Sherpas of member countries, who are personal emissaries of the leaders. Finance track is led by finance ministers and central bank governors of member countries. Within the two tracks, there are thematically oriented working groups in which representatives from the relevant ministries of the members, as well as from invited or guest countries and various international organizations, participate. The finance track is mainly led by Ministry of Finance. These working groups meet regularly throughout the term of each presidency. The Sherpas oversee negotiations over the course of the year, discussing agenda items for the summit and coordinating the substantive work of the G20. In addition, there are engagement groups which bring together civil societies, parliamentarians, think tanks, women, youth, labor, businesses, and researchers of the G20 countries. The G20 currently comprises finance track with 8 work streams: global, macroeconomic policies, infrastructure financing, international financial architecture, sustainable finance, financial inclusion, health finance, international taxation, financial sector reforms. Sherpa track with 13 work streams: anti-corruption, agriculture, culture development, digital economy, employment, environment and climate education, energy transition, health, trade and investment, tourism and disaster risk resilience and reduction proposed by India. And third, 11 engagement groups of private sector or civil society or independent bodies, Business 20, Civil 20, Labor 20, Parliament 20, Science 20, Supreme Audit Institutions 20, Think 20, Urban 20, Women 20, Youth 20, and Startup 20 proposed by India. Invitee IOs and guest countries. In addition to G20 members, there has been a tradition of the G20 presidency inviting some guest countries and international organizations, IOs, to its G20 meetings and summit. Accordingly, in addition to regular international organizations, UN, IMF, World Bank, WHO, WTO, ILO, FSB, and OECD, and chairs of regional organizations, AU, AUDA, NEPAD, and ASEAN, India as G20 presidency will be inviting Bangladesh, Egypt, Mauritius, Netherlands, Nigeria, Oman, Singapore, Spain, and UAE as guest countries, as well as ISA, International Solar Alliance, CDRI, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and ADB, Asian Development Bank, as guest IOs. G20 meetings. More than 200 G20 meetings will be held at locations across the country during India's presidency period. The G20 summit will be held in New Delhi on 9th and 10th September 2023. So that's all. So hope this video was informative. Thank you for your time.